talk to you about 3 costly mistakes that can cost you a lot of money when it comes to demolishing a building. I'm Andrew Hubbard, welcome back to the channel. Please like and subscribe. Check me out on all the social medias for lots of tips and education on property development. And we're going to get started in the content right now. Tip number 1 is asbestos. You don't want to go demolishing a building without having an asbestos survey in place, because if you do, it could cost you a lot of money, and it's also going to put people's health at risk. So the first thing to do is find a company that can carry out an asbestos survey for you. They're then going to go and do some samples, so they'll take some samples of all different types of places in the building. They'll break holes in there and look for all the sort of places where you find asbestos. So things like coving, plasterboard, the roof tiles, could be a cladding, could be downpipes. There's lots and lots of different places where different types of asbestos are hanging around in buildings that you wouldn't normally see because they're covered up with other fixtures and fittings or painted over. But you just don't want to go ripping these things out, because if you do, health and safety could come by on your site, see that you've gone to start demolishing a building without it, and they could shut the site down and impose a really, really large fine on you and your workforce. You want to make sure that you've got a reputable asbestos company that disposes of the asbestos properly, and you end up with the consignment notes to show that it's been disposed of at a proper disposal facility, because again, this could cost you a lot of money later on if you haven't got the correct paperwork. This is one of the first things that you need to get in place when you're demolishing a building, is making sure that the asbestos is removed safely so that the other guys can come in there and carry out things like electrics, plumbing disconnections, before the building then goes on to be demolished. Tip number 2, this mistake could cost you thousands if you skip this thing. So we're going to be talking about utilities. You've got to cap all the utilities off to disconnect them. That's the electric, gas, water and drainage. Now you want to make sure that your drainage isn't going to get blocked up when you're demolishing the building, and that all debris doesn't go down there and block up the main drains, because that's going to cost you a lot of money. Electric's got to be disconnected. That's going to be the same way in all buildings, and that can take you a long time. Typically you're going to need, sometimes you're going to need a road permit closure. That could be 90 days. That could cost you money if you've got trades scheduled to come in and demolish and start building straight away after. And you've got to allow for this 90-day road permit to be organised and issued. From our experience, sometimes these permits take 2 to 3 weeks to even get issued before the 90-day permit comes into play. So this could cost you a lot of money if you don't plan this schedule out, and all of a sudden your trades have got to go away and start working on another job. It goes the same with the gas. Water's not such a problem. If you've got water to an existing property, sometimes you can just cap that off if the meter's not in the road or it's not in the way, and you can reroute that water pipe pretty easy, so you've got temporary water on site. But if not, you are going to have to get it capped off, and again you might just have to find out if there's a 90-day permit for them to dig up the road to cap off the water supply. Now there are companies out there that can assist with this for you. They can do surveys, they can find out how long it's going to take to cap these things off, what it's going to cost. So these guys can go out there and do all the work for you and put all these things in place so that you fully understand that these things are not going to delay the project and cost you a load of money later on down the line. You're going to need a Section 80, or also known as an S80. So you apply for these from the building control, and this is your permission to demolish a building. Now, it's not a decision-making permission, it's just you notifying the building control that you're about to demolish a building, and they're going to give you the permission to demolish the building, and they may just set a set of rules that you have to abide by to make sure you do things properly. So securing the site with fencing is one of them, making sure that you're not having fires on site, or if you can have fires, that you're not causing a disturbance to your neighbours, maybe certain working hours, maybe noise. So lots of different conditions that the building control may put in place once they assess the site, but you don't want to start work without this, because if you do, it's going to cost you a lot of money, because then they could stop the project, start enforcing fines, and then once all that's done, yeah, you can start back on site with the project, but it's going to cause delays. As the saying goes, time equals money. You don't want any hold-ups in development. Hope you found these 3 tips useful. Please like and subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more videos out there. If you've got any comments, put them in below. Always happy to answer your questions and help you guys move forward to your first property development and get started very, very soon.